decline, fertility will eventually decline because the alternative is endless, never-stopping growth, and that's just impossible. It's insane. But the relationship is very vague, and I think policies and the educational level can make a huge difference in reducing that gap between mortality decline and the fertility response. One of the reasons why the link is so varied and contingent upon other factors is that we human beings are very bad at probabilistic reasoning, and we ask Indians or Nigerians whether they think mortality has improved or deteriorated, and you get a whole range of answers. People are very bad at detecting that infant mortality may have fallen or child mortality, and that's one reason why there isn't an automatic response between driving down mortality and fertility. So in general, and other people raise this issue, of course health services and reducing infant and child mortality has to be a top priority. It'd be absurd for anybody to argue that fertility control was the overriding and single consideration. Of course not. Education, health, and family planning are all of equal importance. The trouble is family planning has almost dropped out of sight, whereas child survival is still it's enshrined in the MDGs. The Gates Foundation spends billions on it, and it's a top development priority, and ditto maternal mortality. But family planning should be up there as part of a parcel of human development. I can't think of any country that's pressed ahead with family planning, ignoring these other dimensions of human welfare. It's just almost unthinkable. That interesting question, how can you have low population growth and high unmet need? The answer is abortion. And it's some of the former Soviet Union countries that have historically been barred from access to modern contraception, but have achieved pretty low fertility through repeated abortion. So when you ask women whether they want another child and are they using contraception, you often get the response, no, they don't want another child, but they're not using contraception. They're going to have another abortion down the road. And that's the apparent paradox. And the worry about West Africa is, I showed you those very low levels of modern contraceptive use, combined with a gentle decline from 6 or 7 births down towards 5. And the worry is that is being driven largely by illegal and often unsafe abortion. And there's a huge message there. And it is that contraception, both the idea of contraception, access to methods is not being vigorously enough promoted throughout most of West and Central Africa. Okay, I'm going to leave the really difficult question to my colleague. What should we say to young people facing this plethora of environmental, moral questions to an ex-politician?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, that for yours.
I would like to limit myself to 2 remarks. First of all, I basically agree with the 5 or 6 speakers who said that the focus of this meeting should have been wider. And they refer to economic and trade issues and political issues, and implied that the approach should be much more holistic. That is true, but of course when you discuss something in a limited period of time, you focus on certain aspects. That doesn't mean that the other things that were mentioned are not important. Healthcare, trade relations, power relations, transparency of governments, many subjects have an important impact on how population develops and what people's well-being is in the future. So I do advocate such an integrated approach, but when you have a discussion like this and a speaker focusing on a particular subject, like we asked him, then you get logically more emphasis on those subjects than on other important subjects. Finally, that's my second remark, Mr. Chairman, I would like to draw attention to the fact that here in the Netherlands we are making useful and new combinations. Also, practically, the World Population Foundation, which has been mentioned, is merging with the Rutgers-Nisso group, and the new director of the new combination is amongst us. I would like to congratulate her with that position, Dianda Veldman. And so in the Netherlands, we are preparing ourselves for a more integrated approach, also combining activities in the Netherlands and internationally. And I think that's a happy development. And I would like to congratulate the Rutgers-Nisso Group and the World Population Foundation for this.
Great, great. And most welcome again. Thanks first of all to the speakers, but thanks sincerely to all of you for being here again, but also for your very active participation. Very active participation, and I go home with one central lesson that we need to intensify the discussion on these subjects, and indeed on a very broad and intensive and new approach. Broad, new approach. Professor Voorhoeven inserted even, as he said, the dimension of energy in his contribution and in energy consumption. The new realities of the 21st century are, well, that the euphoria which we have lived more than 30 years, 35 years after the Club of Rome, that the predictions of the Club of Rome were not fulfilled, that we could live in a world, in a culture of abundance for South and North in the world, and that there were certain prospects, that reality has gone. And as you rightly said, there is also indeed a very strong lesson for the North, how to redirect, reconvert, if you wish, its own policy, its own behavior, as Professor Voorhoeven said. We have seen the need for a coherent and integral approach. And at the beginning of this week, there was another SID meeting with Ad Melkert, the highest ranking Dutch official at the multilateral system. And at that meeting, SID could present its latest book. We have we have at least the intention each year, our series, to bring them together in a bundle of essays. This bundle, Emerging Global Scarcities and Power Shifts, is an effort, not more than an effort, to describe the extremely different situation in which we have to deal with North-South global issues now than 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that is a central lesson in which we have also to put population issues in that broader context of power shifts and new scarcities, both elements. And I am proud and glad that I can hand over as a token, just as a symbolic token of our appreciation for both your contribution, your excellent contribution to this debate in the Netherlands, this new debate again, renewed debate, this just published this book to both of you. And I thank you sincerely for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
I think the bar is open, isn't it? So, you are most welcome. Goed zo, ik ben uit een bruiloft gebroken om dit zaken voor te zetten, dus ik moet helaas, moet ik daar weer naar terugkomen.
Ja. Nou, heel veel dank voor de leiding die je gaf en de vriendelijke woorden.